What's up, everybody? Thank you, large audience, for being here. Joe, just play along with me. There's nobody here. Summer, Jim. Summer's here.
Oh, man. And, Joe, I want to apologize to our guests right off the bat. It's hot up here. Sorry, man. We have Studio B
It's getting
in the
hot
works.
in here.
It is not bad.
Let's keep on all our clothes.
Please, let's do that.
Right?
It's summertime, but that means that Jim and I, audience, we have a little bit more time to be able to hang out with some people. But Jim had the right idea. Jim, tell him where you were.
Oh, my gosh. It's over your right shoulder, my friend.
Oh, you
on the wall.
Alaska.
Oh, my gosh. If you have not been on an Alaska cruise,
It's abductions and icebergs, isn't it?
it doesn't matter. It's not Fresno heat. Jesus. It was
I said, where'd you swim?
And actually, it wasn't even that cold. It rained a couple days and misty and everything, but it just, we went to Juneau, Ketchikan, Sitka. We went to, several different places, and it's just gorgeous.
I struggle with it because, we all saw Titanic. And then you said, let me get on a boat surrounded by icebergs and just see what happens.
Okay, so don't be a hypocrite, even though we had icebergs, but you just came back from a cruise as well. So,
Not icebergs. I told you this, that I would survive if we struggled because it'd be Ensenada.
You could swim literally back to the...
And eat tacos on the way.
Right, yeah.
All right, enough of that, folks. We have some amazing guests with us today, and today I want to start talking about a little technology. I know you may feel a certain way about it. Some people love it. Some people embrace it. Some people call it cheating, depending on how you use it. But I wanted to bring somebody in who's an expert in the area of AI and leadership, Mr. Joe Marquez.
Well, thank you.
Clap it up,
I appreciate it. That's great.
So, Joe, I want to get this right. Instructional Technology Specialist for Clovis Unified.
That's correct.
But there was a whole road that led to this, right? So we'll start at the beginning of your education career. You began in the classroom?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I was an 8th grade science teacher.
Yeah.
In Alta Sierra in Clovis Unified. Loved it. Dream job. Best classroom on campus, I guarantee it.
What's the mascot?
The mascot is the Bruin.
Go Bruins.
Go Bruins. Go Bruins. And it was fantastic. I loved it. And in fact, you might find this interesting. I hated technology when I was first a teacher. I hated it. I actually went as far as to buy a cell phone jammer for my classroom that only went into the classroom. I'd turn it on, and the kids were like, how come my cell phone doesn't work?
Wow.
You should patent that or sell that.
That would be huge.
I don't think it's allowed by the FCC anymore.
Okay, all right.
But so I was just against it. I saw technology as a distraction, but it got to the point of if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
Right. They all had these devices in their pockets, so powerful, but they were only using it for entertainment, social media, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And around this time, this was around 2010, 2011, when I started dabbling in technology, we started seeing apps that were actually beneficial because we could actually ask questions and see instant responses and seeing if the students were actually understanding what was being taught in real time.
Yeah.
And I saw that power. And that power led me to doing trainings on my campus, led me to becoming an instructional TOSA for the district as well, and then put me out into a whole bunch of conferences where people started recognizing my potential at
From
being
detractor to superstar.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
you're
superstar.
Extreme, Joe.
Well, I'm not a famous YouTuber or anything, but I can hold my own.
No, I found a lot on you. We always AI our guests, and your rap sheet was long.
It was long. I tell people there's nowhere I can hide. I'm out there.
And I love that because we need people like you.
Well, the big thing is, education is so important. And I know we'll get to this in the future, but I think the Central Valley is just so ripe with innovation and amazing educators. And by my travels, people are like, Fresno what? Madera what? Tulare what? Like, you don't even know the amazing people we have here. We got to tell our story. We got to get out there, So I'm proud to say I'm from Fresno County. I'm proud to say I'm from the Central Valley because I think we get passed over too many times.
Yeah, no, I feel that as well. As far as your own origin story in terms of being a student, did you go to school in the Valley? Or?
I did, yeah. So I grew up going to Fresno Unified Schools.
Okay.
And then in 6th grade, my family moved all the way to Clovis when Clovis Unified was just basically exploding in population. And so I went all the way through 6th grade and then all the way through high school as a Clovis Unified student.
Clovis High, Cougar?
Nope, Buchanan Bears.
Buchanan Bears.
Yeah, we were actually the very first graduating class in the brand new Veterans Memorial Stadium, which was fantastic.
What year is that?
1999.
Shout out to 1999. Prince loved that year.
He did love it. We're going to party just like it.
I bet you guys used the heck out of that song.
Oh, we sure did.
Graduation, everything, right?
Absolutely.
Youngsters, look it up if you're like, what are they talking about? So after high school, was teaching on the list, or is that something that came up later?
No. I loved science. Just understanding the world around us.
Yeah.
I was just so inquisitive with everything.
I like people who simplify science. You know, like Bill Nye.
Well, I used to be called the king of analogies, right?
Oh,
just because
I like that.
I think when you can picture something that's personal to you and relate it to something that's a little bit more complicated, I think it really gravitates towards understanding and retention. And that was my big thing. Like people would be like, what? You're teaching kids about Newtonian theory with South Park? Absolutely. I sure am. You're teaching kids about direction and distance with Ferris Bueller? Absolutely. I mean, I wanted to bring things to the kids that they could relate to.
Yeah.
And it truly worked. I
People
love
want to
teaching.
go to your class.
Yeah, it was fun. I loved it. Even today, I'll go around town and people go, oh, my, Mr. Marquez, your 8th grade science class was the best class I ever had. I go, it makes me so happy and so sad at the same time because you're the epitome of your education was 8th grade science. I feel bad about that.
That was the peak.
That was the peak.
You peaked early.
Yeah.
Okay, so then after high school, where'd you end up?
So after high school, I went to Fresno State.
Yeah.
I got my bachelor's in biology, physiology, and anatomy.
What was the plan at that point for you?
So the plan was I wanted to work in genetics. I wanted to be able to, I loved Legos growing up. I go, man, if we can manipulate genes and build something, through that kind of stuff, that'd be super neat.
Yeah.
And I realized it wasn't that easy. And then I actually went to New York and I worked at a place called the Boyce Thompson Institute. I interned
So you were
there.
living in New York?
I was there, yeah.
What was that like?
Upper state New York, Ithaca.
Okay, that's the countryside?
Yeah, exactly. It's basically the sister city to Fresno. A lot of agriculture goes on over there.
Okay.
And it was great, but a lot of scientists work in silos. Headphones on, doing your thing. You're not talking to anybody. And I'm like, man, this is a little bit boring. And previously, before going to New York, I was a football coach for Alta Sierra. I taught the O-line and the D-line.
Oh, wait, hold on. I want to explain this to our audience. Jim, I don't know if you knew this, but in the Clovis area schools and maybe some Fresno schools, you can be on the junior high team and you're in full pads and helmets.
Oh, correct.
Everyone else, we're with flags and jerseys. So it's a little different here.
Well, even 5th and 6th grade, they are practicing.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Pads,
Practicing in
helmets?
Pads, yep.
Okay.
Pads, helmets, all the
Nice.
way. Unless the temperature's too much, right?
But I mean, you play tackle football for the school.
Correct.
See, that doesn't exist for most of us till high school. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah, it is very neat. And I loved it. I got along great with the kids. I got along great with the other coaches. And speaking of that, when I was in New York, I got a call from one of my best mentors, Brady Mosier, who passed, unfortunately, a few years back. He goes, well, how do you like it over there? It's a little bit boring. He goes, yeah, I thought so. Why don't you come back? You can be, coaching again with us, and then try out substitute teaching and see if you can get a hold of teaching. And if so, go for a credential. And I came back. I did that. I loved it, and went to Fresno State for my credential again, and began my teaching career in 2008.
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that, and it was amazing. The classroom was just an amazing place to just see these budding adults. 8th graders don't quite know who they are yet.
Yeah.
They don't know how much axe to put on, right? A little bit too much all the time. But the thing about it is they are either with you or against you. But you have to show them that you are for them no matter what. And once you do that, oh man, they are just ready to be molded to amazing human beings. I just loved every minute of it. And when the time came for me to leave the classroom, when I got the offer with that company called CDW to be there, what they called an education strategist for the West Coast, I had a really big come to Jesus moment. Like, is this for me? And it was my wife that said, Joe, the classroom will always be there for you, but is this opportunity always going to be there? And I took it. And the thing I loved most about it was I was able to get out of my silo and see how other districts approach things.
So you were going from district to district.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I covered all of California, Oregon, Washington, Colorado, and Hawaii. And
So it's like being on tour. You're
yeah,
hotel to hotel.
Yeah, just like that. And it was great until I realized how much traveling I was doing. Living out of a suitcase. I had a 2-year-old and a newborn at the time. And it was really hard.
Yeah, to miss those moments.
Missed it, you know.
They call you. She's walking.
You're like, oh, I missed it.
I'm in Wisconsin.
Oh, man. It was very fulfilling. But every time I came home, it looked like my daughter's aged. Just crazy.
Oh, man, that would kill me.
So an opportunity came up for me to become the director of academic innovation for an organization called Q. And it's an organization that got me into technology. Just the amazing, there was a affiliate called CVQ, which I got to meet some amazing educators, how they're using technology to really amplify what's going on in the classroom. I loved it. So it always held a really very passionate place in my heart, that organization. And I ended up getting that position. I was there for 3 years, almost 4, but I missed the classroom.
Were they also based out of the Valley?
Yes, so they are a California-based nonprofit. They're what's called an ISTE affiliate. ISTE's the large organization. They're actually having a big conference right now.
A lot of acronyms.
A lot of acronyms. You got to remember these letters.
Yeah.
But I just felt that I needed to get back. I started feeling like a phony. You know how where you're going around and talking to educators, they're in the classroom and you're giving recommendations, but now you're 6 years removed from the classroom and you're like, oh, I don't feel like I'm actually authentic anymore.
That's the trade-off.
Exactly. That's why whenever I see a presenter and they say, oh, I've been out of the classroom for 20 years. Oh, I'm out of here. I don't think you get it.
Yeah.
Right. And so getting back into the classroom was very important. And an opportunity came up in Clovis where they said, hey, we have a position opening up. We'd love for you to apply. You get to work with our elementary students and teachers. And I said, I would love to do this. Could I also help start an AI program for the district? Because we really need training. I don't believe, AI is such a giant subject that teachers don't have the time or capacity to learn the depth and breadth of exactly what it is. You need to be able to create a program for a district and then disseminate that program to the teachers in small chunks so that they have something lasting and progressive, and they're not doing all the work to understand it. And they go, let's do it. And so that's where the Clovis Unified A.I.E. Leadership Program came to be, which we finished 3 successful cohorts last year. We're doing 2 more cohorts this year.
These are cohorts of teachers?
Cohorts of teachers, yeah.
From Clovis?
From Clovis Unified, from all grade levels.
Man,
they
I
are
want to
nominated.
get in on that action.
No, it's you know what? I love it so much because the teachers love it. I never hear fond things about PD. It's always like, why do we have to do this?
It's a tough sell.
This doesn't apply to me. But when we did kind of the end of cohort surveys, it was off the charts.
Yeah.
And they were thanking us for opening their eyes. The biggest compliments are from our English teachers. And they would say to me, we were AI resistors. And now we see the benefit. Now we see the momentum. Now we see the reasoning behind it. And they go, and it's because you explained it to us in a very understandable yet succinct way that we know we can do it. And that's the point, because AI is a big topic. But when you can relate it to learning and understanding and keeping critical thinking at the forefront, teachers resonate with that. And you need somebody to be able to do that. Otherwise, all they hear is the white noise from the media, from the social medias, from all that stuff, where they hear AI bad. That's all they hear, AI cheating.
Yeah.
They don't go into any depth of how it can actually help students with disabilities, help our ELL populations understand the English language quicker and better. They don't see all these benefits that AI can have on a student who doesn't have the monetary means to get a tutor when they don't understand something. AI can be that tutor. They can be that at-home help.
The equalizer.
It's the ultimate equalizer.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I like equality. Right? All teachers do. Being in the public school system, right, sometimes you can see some of the inequities of different schools compared to maybe the private sector or even from district to district.
100%.
And so, man, if we can equalize it. So I wrote down a few because it resonated with me, Jim, like, okay, this is what I hear the teachers talking about. So we're going to ask you from like a teacher perspective, right? And the first one that came up had to do with a question. Not the origin story. Hold on. Here it is. Hold on, I'm updating my stuff here. No. I hate reading them off this because people think I'm just updating my Facebook right in the middle of an interview. Okay, so what do you think's the biggest thing the average educator is, quote unquote, missing when it comes to utilizing AI to its fullest potential?
So my biggest, I guess, pet peeve, and I got to be careful when I say this because I say this sometimes,
Are you
and
gonna say chat?
I see teachers' mouths drop. AI is not here to save you time. AI is not here to save you time.
Oh, that's controversial right there.
It is. Here's the thing. AI is here to make your work even better. That's it. AI is here to make your work even better. If you approach AI just to save you time, you're going to run into roadblocks. You're going to run into issues. You're going to run into hallucinations, which are incorrect responses from AI, because your number one job, your number one goal is to speed things up. And when you're first learning to use AI, you have to go in with a plan. You have to go in with a well thought out, well constructed approach. And it takes time to do that. And so you have to approach AI with the mindset of, by doing this process, I will have an outcome that's superior than if I did this on my own. But because you're going to be intentional, because you're going to be looking for incorrect responses, because you're going to be combing through those outputs, it's going to take longer than you thought. But eventually, when you understand the nuances of AI, you understand how to plan, you understand what you're looking for, eventually a byproduct of using AI well will be to save you time. But that's not your onus. That's not your reason. And so we actually created something in Clovis Unified called A.I. Cubed. And it stands for Artificial Intelligence Intentional Inclusion. You have to know your why. Why specifically do you want to use AI in the first place? And your why cannot be to save you time. And then what specifically, a narrowed down version of what specifically do you need the most help with? And then how are you going to articulate that through your understanding of your content? How are you going to articulate that through a well thought out prompt? So that's our why, our what, and our how.
Like the golden circle.
It is. And it takes time because when you finally articulate it, when you finally write your prompt, and by the way, too many people are prompting like they're Googling something. They write a 1-sentence or 2-sentence ask, and with AI, garbage in, garbage out. 100%.
I'll call myself out.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing.
I gotta fix that.
When we first start working with educators, their prompts are 1 to 2 sentences.
Yeah.
By the time they're done with us, they are 2 pages.
And now, do you train other districts? I'm serious
We
right
do.
now.
We do. Yeah. So I'm working with a few districts down south. I'm working with a couple districts in like the Stockton area as well.
I would love to bring you over to.
So, and I do, as long as it doesn't incur with my my contracted hours.
Yeah.
I do plenty of things. But the reason is because I believe in this, and I don't believe enough people are doing enough with it. And our program that we created, our A.I.E leadership program, it's replicable. If I can train the trainers on this, and then they can go out and deploy it in their districts.
Man.
And the thing is, we're not doing this for monetary reasons. We're not going to like package it up and try to sell it to districts. What we're trying to sell is a game plan for success, because you have all these doomsayers out there. AI is going to destroy education. AI is going to rot kids' minds. There's going to be no learning happening. Well, the thing is, AI will do that if we do nothing. Yeah. If we step back and say, we're banning AI, we're not doing anything, well, who are the kids going to learn how to use AI from? They're going to learn how to use it from the TikTokers and the Instagrammers, and they're not going to be learning how to use it in probably the most ethical way. When they learn from us, to keep critical thinking at the forefront, to not let AI be a crutch, to learn when to stop using AI and start using your brain again, that's very important. So when we talk to our teachers, we say AI is a tool, it's not the lesson. And you have to put a time limit on it. So if you tell the kids, hey, we're gonna use an AI chatbot I created specifically for learning about Egypt. I'm gonna give you 20 minutes to work with the chatbot.
Yeah.
And then at 20-minute mark, I'm gonna hit pause and stop, and you're not gonna be able to do it anymore. Then you're gonna then talk to your neighbor about what you learned and see if there's any inconsistencies. And so one of the things people always ask me, especially new incoming teachers like at Fresno State, they go, do you think technology or AI is gonna stop communication in the classroom? I said, if used correctly, it should encourage more of it, because it should speed up the research process and enhance the communication process. If you use technology right, you should actually have more communication in the classroom than less of it.
Oh man, that's what okay, so here's how I feel. Let me give you a visual, because you're a man of analogies, right? So Jim, this is how I feel about it. Let's say that I knew I had no prior knowledge of a car, right? And so I find this thing with wheels on it, and I figure out how to put the gear in neutral, and then I go to the back and I start pushing it, right? That's me with AI right now. Like, I'm pushing a car instead of just turning the motor on. And I want to get to that place where I can speed away and maximize it, right?
Well, I'll tell you another analogy with that. Too many people are using AI like a Waymo, right? They get in the car, they tell it what to do, and they sit back and let the machine do all the work. And then you get there, oh, I drove here. No, you didn't. The machine drove you. You didn't do that. Too many people are not keeping the human in the loop. And that's an issue, because no matter what tool you're using, it could be ChatGPT, it could be Gemini, it can be Claude, it could be Perplexity, there's always going to be a hallucination or an incorrect response in that output. And if you don't know your subject, if you don't know your content, you might miss it. And then that missing incorrect statement is now going to be passed off to the kids. So teachers have to be very wary of what AI gives you. We always say the first output is the worst output.
Oh.
Always. And if you use the first output without combing through it and critically analyzing what it gave you, you're going to be in for a world of hurt. So we train our teachers to do what's called the prompt refinement cycle, where you clarify what you're asking, you verify the output, and then you modify it. So clarify, verify, modify, repeat. And what we call that is we call it laundering the output. You're cleaning it out, removing the inconsistencies, the incorrectness, and usually by the third or fourth time, you have something that's really usable that you can add a little bit more to make it your own. But too many people are taking the first output and then just using it. And then that's not very good.
That's the saving time approach that hurts us.
Correct. And when you're
learning right now.
Yeah, well, when your onus is to save time, you don't go through that prompt refinement cycle, because your number one job, I need to save time. But if that's your number one job, you're going to get lots of inconsistencies. And when you pass those off to kids, that's going to start eroding accuracy in the classroom.
Now, what's interesting, what you're saying, is exactly what I've had to deal with this year, Robert. I don't know if you've used AI in the class. So I teach broadcasting, and my kids have to write scripts for a Halloween film or a short film or a newscast or a story, whatever. And they will use that first. And they won't. So let me go back. I ask them to write their own. Then if they want to put that in AI and get kind of creative on what it is. But the part that I'm frustrated with is the kids are getting lazier because they push that first outcome. They push that and say, I turned it in, I did the work. I'm like, well, no, first of all, the assignment was to use AI. But second of all, you didn't even go back and read what AI gave me. And when you turned it in, you left cliff notes in there, references and all. You don't talk like that. I need a script that's written for your story. Then here's the other thing too, that I catch them on this all the time. You may use AI to write your Halloween script. They're like, oh, really? We can? I'm like, yes, but if you go to that first outcome, it's where it throws it out there. If it talks about on a dark and gloomy night, the swamp was quiet with no frogs, you better show me a swamp with no frogs making noises. Yeah. And they're like, well, I go, no, because you're not going in and referencing or changing those little details to make it more realistic here at the ranchos or wherever it is on a dark, gloomy night at the Liberty High School, where all the lights were dim or whatever it is, whatever it is. But my point is that, like what you said, they get lazy. And I think AI is pushing it to where, oh, I'm sure it's right. They don't even go in and double check.
They don't. They don't. And that point is why we need to teach students the reality of AI. We need to teach students that if you choose to use AI, you have to use it ethically, where you are bringing something to the table, right? If you go on Amazon right now, there are tons of books that promise they can teach you how to prompt. Prompting is personal. Prompting is a creative writing exercise. It takes time. You can't read a book and do it right. So we actually have what's called a checklist. A checklist of, when you write your prompt, go through this checklist and see if you've added these things to amplify your prompt to a way it'll be usable, right? So the first one is a task. Do you have a well thought out ask or task for the AI? And that may seem like it's like, of course we have an ask. Why would we not come up to, well, too many people meander with their ask. They talk to it like you're asking somebody for help. Like, hey, AI, if you have time, would you possibly, like, AI doesn't want that.
When you're done with your Netflix.
When you're, it wants, hey, you will. It needs those direct statements to work better. The next thing is context. Everything about it. So if you're referencing that Halloween script, but Ranchos based, you have to say, I would like your help in enacting a script and then saying, is it audio or video? Because if you're doing it auditorially, you need to add a little bit more description in your script. If you're doing it in video wise, you need to have little cues of what the pictures or video portions are going to be. You need to be articulate about how the output needs to be. Yeah. Right? So you are an expert scriptwriter for an auditory radio program. You need to help me write a Halloween script based solely in my location, which is the Madera Ranchos. I want to tell you a little bit about the place I live so that you can articulate exactly how this.
Wow.
So you need to be very articulate. So I tell students, do not write your prompt in the tool. Don't go to ChatGPT and write in that little Omni box. Open up a Google Doc. When you open up a Google Doc, you are more willing to be in a writer's pose than a Googling pose.
True.
And you're more willing to edit your prompt before you copy and paste it into the tool itself. We see outputs skyrocket in creativity and accuracy when a well thought out prompt is put into its place.
Start in a Google Doc.
So is more better?
Yes.
Okay.
But more is better, but you have to hone in specifically what you want help with the most. For example, if a teacher wants help with a lesson plan, right? You need to say, I'm an educator, I'm an 8th grade teacher in Clovis, California. Those are key to bring in state standards. And you'd say, now look, this is what I need. I need your help with my lesson. I'm going to attach my lesson. My biggest problem is creating activities where my students can increase communication in the classroom. So you're honing in on that lesson plan. You're not asking it to write a lesson plan.
Yeah.
You're asking it to look at what you currently have. That's called an exemplar, something you brought to the table.
Yes.
And then you need help with a specific activity within that lesson plan, not the entire thing.
All right.
AI does better when you hone in a specificity of what you want it to do, not a grandiose vision.
So I wanted to now go into something that maybe teachers could use. Educators out there, if you're watching, if you were to give in one of your seminars, workshops, the top 5 most useful AI tools for teachers, would be your top 5?
Well, so I'm going to give them to you, but I want to preface it with this.
Yeah.
They're just tools.
Just
right?
tools.
So imagine you have a toolbox, and I was, what's your favorite tool? You're like, I don't have a favorite tool. I picked the tool that I need for the job that needs to get done.
Yeah.
That's the way you have to approach any technology. You can't fall in love with one tool because you have different pedagogical approaches, different activities, different students that you need to reach. So you pick the right tool for the right time.
So you can't be like what we do back in the day. We'd take a butter knife and and use it for all things.
Well, I want to add to that, though. How do you know that the hammer does what the hammer does? How do you know that the tool we're looking at does what we need it to do?
There we go.
Because that's where I'm stuck. I'm like, well, technically, I'd love to have one program that does it all.
Yeah.
But how do we know that?
No, exactly. And that's playing around, right? Trial and error, looking for things that work or don't work. Because you can take a hammer and put a hole in a wall, or you can take a hammer and build an amazing gazebo. Right? So in the hands of different people, tools can be better or worse.
Yeah.
So I always say AI, the I stands for intelligence. That's a misnomer. AI is generic. AI is not smart. It's us that make it smart. And so we have to bring our pedagogical understanding of teaching and learning to the table to get the AI to do what we want it to do for educational purposes, right? Once you understand that, then you can start looking at the pantheon of tools out there and say, what can I use in my classroom? So here's what I'm going to say. First, make sure that the tools I'm going to tell you are both FERPA and COPA compliant, meaning data privacy, student privacy, all that is in place with these tools. But double check with your district to make sure that you have those same compliances in place. Okay. For example, if you are a Google district, you should be using Gemini because you are protected under Google for Education's COPA and FERPA compliance for student data privacy if you're using Gemini. Now, I always say don't put any identifiable student information into any of these tools, even when you are protected. But if you're going to, and you're a Google district, definitely use Gemini.
Okay.
So Gemini is one of my favorites because it is one of those end-all be-all tools. You can use it for research. You can use it for chart creation. You can use it to disseminate giant amounts of data in like an Excel sheet or Google sheet. You can use it for a lot of things, create images now within it, and even music. A music generator is built right into
Nice.
Gemini. It creates 30-second songs of any style built right into it.
Like a theme song for a podcast?
Like a theme song for a podcast. Exactly.
I'm going to put in there, I want something to sound like BBD's Poison.
But not copywritten.
Yeah, see what it comes out with. Sorry, I got
No. I mean,
got distracted.
but that's the fun thing is when you find a tool and you resonate with it, teachers become giddy. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. Right?
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do in Gemini is to work with science teachers or math teachers and show them that you can create simulations or games right in the thing. You click on the plus button, you select Canvas, and you say you are an amazing game developer for educational games. You're going to help create a game that showcases the phases of the moon, but in an interactive way that students will understand what each phase means and why. And it will generate the code and the actual game in the side panel that a teacher can then hand off to a kid, and then they can work with that kind of stuff. And the reason teachers get giddy is because like I've been searching the internet forever for something that can do this or a game that would resonate with my kids, and I can't find it. And you're telling me I can make it? Yes, you can. That's one of the most amazing things. Is the only thing that holds you back with AI is your imagination. That's the only thing holding you back.
That's a commercial. The only thing holding you back
is your imagination.
So I'm convinced that so far Joe works for Google on the side, and he's getting advertising dollars for this. We're going to split that, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, what else? Gemini?
Gemini. So keeping within the Google ecosystem,
Yeah.
Notebook LM. Notebook LM is one of the most transformative education tools
Notebook LM.
ever invented. It's absolutely amazing. You can bring in up to 50 different resources, which is websites, YouTube videos, PDFs, Word, anything you can imagine, bring it in, and it becomes an expert on all those things. And because you're bringing in the information, the type of hallucinations that would come out in like a Gemini proper don't appear as often in a notebook because it has the dedicated information you're looking for. And the cool thing is Notebook LM is built into Google Classroom now. So a teacher can build a Notebook LM with 5 different primary sources, whether it's for history, math, science, what have you. And now a kid has an interactive textbook. They can ask questions. They can ask it to create a quiz form because they need to get ready. They can ask it to be a tutor. They can ask it to ask questions, and they give the best response. And the cool thing is, if they get it wrong, it'll point in the resources where they can look it up again and then come back and get that answer.
Wow.
It's absolutely amazing. It'll make an audio podcast right in Notebook LM. You can say, you know what, Notebook LM, I'm having a difficult time understanding this. Can you create a podcast for me that creates analogies that I will understand, that helps me understand this context better? And it'll make the podcast, and they can download it as an MP3 and listen to it on their phone while bike riding to school. It's absolutely amazing. It's
okay,
really
so
cool.
that's Gemini, Notebook LM.
Notebook LM. All right, so those are 2 that I always show, especially if you're a Google school.
Yes.
So let's go outside of Google. Visual learning is absolutely important. What we find in education is students can give you an answer, but sometimes the hardest thing is explain to you why they know that's the answer, especially in math. So Snorkel is an amazing tool. So Snorkel without the E, SNORKL. Snorkel. This tool allows you to create a digital whiteboard with any kind of question, math, science, English, history, whatever. And then you go in and you prompt it. My students are going to be answering this question. Here's the focus. Here's the learning objectives. And the students go in and they digitally ink their answer, vocalize what the answer is and how they came to that. The AI, based off of your instructions and learning outcomes, will then go and leave them feedback on how they did. And if they didn't do so well, they can go back and hit redo. And they can take the feedback and apply it to their second approach. And as the teacher, I see every single thing coming in real time, and I can see who's struggling, who's not. And that allows me, the teacher, to then go and work one-on-one with the kids who are just really struggling. The AI is not going to help them. That teacher-student impact is what helps them. But those students who are middle of the road that just need that extra bit of information, they've had their hand up for 10 minutes, but you're too busy working with other kids, they can instantly get that feedback and adjust their approach and get the right answer. Snorkel is 100% amazing.
Wow. Okay, so you just created a whole AI tutorial support group within a classroom individually. All right, that's crazy. Okay, so we got Gemini, Notebook LM, Snorkel. Two
Okay,
more.
the next one. Already, this next one is really cool.
Drum roll.
Drum roll. And this is something that is near and dear to my heart. It is School AI.
School AI.
School AI, right? But I'm not talking about these pre-made tools for teachers, right? Like there's another tool out there called Magic School.
Yes.
And when you log into it, the very first thing you see is this giant tile system of all these pre-made tools that they made for teachers. The problem with that is you don't know the prompt they use for those tools. You can't go in and adjust the prompt for those tools, and you have to take whatever they give you.
Can't
right?
make it your own.
Can't make it your own. So I always say for that kind of stuff, use Gemini, because you can make your own stuff. But for School AI, they don't focus on those tools. They focus on the creation of spaces, which are customized chatbots to meet the needs of your students in front of you now. So a couple things I've done with School AI is I've created role play chatbots for kids of all ages. So in second grade, I created a chatbot that I told it, you are an expert zoologist with a specificity in animals of the swamp. Right? But I say you're going to role play as an animal of the swamp the kids choose, and you will not break character. And so the kids can interview an alligator. The kids can interview a snake. And because you are role playing as that animal, but you're still an expert zoologist, it gives you highly reliable results back, but it's an entertaining way. I had second grade students interviewing animals, and they loved it. And whenever I use this tool, they have to write notes by hand. They can't take notes online. And so these kids are writing copious notes as second graders. I'm like, whoa, how are you getting so much? My new friend is da-da-da. And I realized, I better tell these kids it's not a real animal, right? And so I always preface it now by saying to the kids, you're going to be talking to a robot that's going to be pretending to be an animal because otherwise they get upset when you take away their friend. Or sixth grade. We created a chatbot of ancient Egyptians. And so the kids got to interview a pharaoh. They got to interview a mason. They got to interview an agricultural worker and ask, what are the differences between how you live your life and how the others live their life? And they got to take all these notes. But it's all accurate because as the teacher, I can, again, attach primary documents where the information is being pulled from. It brings history to life. It brings everything to life. And the cool thing is, when it works, you can just click share and send that chatbot to your fellow teacher. They click on it, and it creates a chat room just for their kids. It's absolutely amazing.
For the technologically, is that right, Jim? Challenged, can you define chatbot?
Yep. A chatbot is a custom AI that you give directions to that it cannot go past those directions. So like Gemini is an open chatbot. So it doesn't have any directions unless you ask questions. Whereas School AI is a closed system chatbot. You, the teacher, dictate what it can do, what it can't do, how it's going to respond to the students. Is it going to be in long form paragraphs or short form bullet points? But also, you can say, chatbot, my students are going to be using this information to write an essay. So if any of them ask you to write the essay for them, you will politely decline. And so you can put in these what we call guardrails that prevent students from misusing the chatbot. And the cool thing is the dashboard you have is a big tattletale. So if the kids are trying to break the chatbot or they're trying to do what you've said it can't do, you get notified. This student is trying to ask me to write this for them. This student is being inappropriate. This student called me a name. It is a big tattletale. And so it allows the teacher to monitor the use of AI and guide the students towards ethical use of AI. It's almost like AI on training wheels for students.
Oh, all right. So those four have already blown my mind. There's a fifth one?
Yes. This one's for you guys, right? I love it. But I've been showing all of my teachers had to use this. Do you remember Schoolhouse Rocks? Right?
Do I remember?
That's how I remember
I'm
how a
just
bill
a
becomes a
bill.
law, right? But now you go on YouTube and you're looking for that perfect science music video or this, and nothing is making it. This one called Suno, S-U-N-O, Suno will make you any song, any style, any length, just by prompting it. So I've been showing
the heck out of this
I've been showing students how to take their notes, copy and paste them into Gemini, and tell Gemini, create me a 5-verse song with a catchy chorus throughout that teaches me everything I need to know about these notes in the style of Korn. Right? It'll write the lyrics in that style. You drop those lyrics into Suno, and then you put in 2000s early new metal as the descriptors. It'll make you a song that sounds just like Korn. And you can listen to your notes while you're doing whatever you want.
Is this what we are hearing on TikTok? There's a couple guys I follow that they'll say, "Leave it to Beaver" in heavy metal Metallica rock.
Yes, yes.
That's what they're doing?
And they'll
Oh,
use the
man.
lyrics of that. Is that? Oh my god!
It is.
Everything I would be R&B 90s, and so mine would start with that little breakdown. How you doing there? Good to see you. Do you know your ABCs? I'll make ABCs for you. Right?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I have like a lot of kinder teachers that say, "Well, we're not going to use AI." I go, do not use AI with the kids,
Yeah.
but you can model it, right? Say, hey, kids, we need to go over the instructions for how we pick up at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me what you need. Oh, we need to pick up our toys. Where do you have to put them? Oh, in the cabinet in the corner. Awesome. And you take all the call outs that the kids are saying and go to Suno and say, make me a pickup song for students the ages 4 to 5 in the style of Raffi, right? That we can listen to at the end of the day to remind the kids how to pick up our room. It'll make it. So teachers
Oh,
now
my
can
God.
make these songs.
I'm using that one all summer.
It's
all
crazy.
Summer.
I use it all the time. We do it for birthday songs. We've had some schools use it for the run out song for their wrestling teams, where all the kids' names and stuff is in there. It's amazing.
That
Well,
I-
see,
The ASB
but this is an 8th grade teacher. We have high school. How are we going to get? We're gonna
no,
have to
the
think
run
outside
out.
the
I'm
box.
just thinking the run out
Oh, the run
song
out. Yeah.
right there for the football team.
Oh yeah.
They've been doing
I mean,
Enter Sandman for like 5 years straight. I love it, Coach. I do. But man, if we could get something personalized, like Golden Bears.
100%. I'm trying to push, because in Clovis we have a big session at the beginning of the year where all the schools come in. I'm trying to get every school to create a song.
Yeah.
And then it's voted which school has the best AI generated song, like at the beginning during
Man.
that session we have at the beginning of the year, general session. Nobody's bit yet. It'll be a couple more years till we get that, but it's just so fun because you could bring in your yearly theme. You can bring in anything you want. It's just so good.
Okay, in the spirit of equality, right? We know that Clovis Unified is blessed to have you there as a resident expert. For other districts or other just individual teachers across the country who may be listening to our audio today or watching the visual, what is a good resource for them to find Joe Marquez type information that maybe they could access on their own?
Okay, so I actually do have a YouTube channel.
Let's do it.
It's called Sons of Technology.
I'm using it.
And Sons of Technology.
We're going to put that in our description, folks, so you guys will find the link right there.
Yep. And if you go there, I have tutorials, how-to videos. A couple summers ago, I did a 12-hour series called A Summer with AI. A lot of the strategies still hold up. A lot of the tools have changed and updated. So a lot of the tools need to be updated there. But it still has the AI cubed framework right
Yes.
there, all that stuff. So that's a great place as well. Another thing to know is myself and another innovator in the Valley called Adam Juarez. We were asked by Google to start a Google educator group here in the
Asked
Valley.
by Google.
Oh, yeah. So California,
You're running in big circles, Joe.
a lot of states have a GEG, Google Educator Group. So Nevada GEG or Ohio GEG. California is such a large place that they have a Northern California GEG, a Southern California GEG, and they wanted to do a Central Valley GEG.
That's you.
Yeah, it's us. So we just started it up. And then every month we do a Google update. We talk about the different strategies that we're using in the classroom or we're using with teachers. And we do how-tos, little snippets, how-tos.
Would that be on the channel as well? Or is
That's on the channel as well. So we dual stream it.
Yeah.
So we have a YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/CVGEG.
Okay.
But then we dual stream it to Sons of Technology as well.
Nice. Oh, we're tuning in.
Yeah.
I'm sold. Are you sold on this one?
100%. And his energy just makes it so much more attractive to want to learn.
I feel like I'm back in his science class.
Right.
I'm in Mr. Marquez. Mr. Marquez.
Right.
So from now on, when I text you questions, Mr. Marquez, can we please? No. Oh, guys, he's throwing some gems at us right here. Can we decide right now, Jim, that we're going to invite him right back for some more information? Would you come back?
Of course.
Man, because you've given us so much right now. We're just trying to process. I've got. Here's the notes, folks, for today on just tips we've gotten from Joe Marquez. So, Joe, I want to thank you so much for being here. Guys, if you guys want to check out Joe, please support his channel. We're going to put the link on there. Let's blow up that channel because he's giving away some amazing stuff that he could be charging thousands, if not millions, across the country to do, but he wants to give it to us because he cares about children and he loves educators. So let's shout it out. Can we get a round of applause for Mr. Joe Marquez? Man, so thank you. Guys, from RobLive, from James Chance, and from Mr. Joe Marquez, the AI expert. Do you have a moniker?
Well, so the team I work with in Clovis, they
Yeah.
call me the AI Godfather. So I might lead into that down the
the
road.
AI Godfather right here. Joe Marquez in the house. Thank you guys for watching. As always, like, subscribe, and support not just us, but please support our guests. Our guests come out of their way to sit in a sweaty studio with us. You guys can't feel the temperature, but Joe's here feeling the heat. And he's out here sharing with you guys. So please support anything, any links we put on there. We want to show them love too. Until next time, it's love, peace, and chicken grease.
Thanks, everybody.
We out.